You're listening to Alternative Future Radio, home of the weird, resting place of the paranormal. Will take you to the furthest reaches of the galaxy and beyond. Strange phenomena, aliens, psychics, cryptozoology, conspiracy, holistic health, and UFOs. Alternative Future Radio, where spooky just got weird.
Hello everybody, and welcome once again to the Out There Hour with Basil and Mark. I'm particularly giddy today with our guest. Can you tell?
The Out There Hour on Alternative Future Radio. The Out There Hour with Basil and Mark. www.alternativefutureradio.com.
Yay! That ended abruptly, didn't it?
It did.
I'm quite giddy today. Good morning, Basil.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon.
And afternoon to Europe,
Africa,
Middle East, America,
and the world.
and Antarctica. We know you're listening, Antarctica.
We've got a very good guest on.
Yes, Nick Redfern.
Nick Redfern. He's a native of Lancashire, United Kingdom.
Is he really?
He is,
Oh,
I think.
right.
I'm saying he is anyway.
Okay.
He's now living in Dallas,
Yeah, Dallas, Texas.
30 minutes from the infamous grassy knoll where JFK was sadly assassinated.
Yes, he was indeed.
He's the author of 22 books.
22
I say that,
books.
just 22 books.
Just the 22.
He doesn't look any more than 22 years of age either.
How has he turned out 22
I don't-
books?
Must be short books.
Maybe.
No, they're great books. We've seen them, very interesting books.
Yes.
He's written for journals, magazines, UFO magazine, Fate magazine, and the famous 14 Times.
Yep.
He's also written for the national newspapers. He's written in Great Britain. He's written for the Express.
Mm-hmm.
He's appeared on numerous radio programs.
He's been everywhere. He's written for everybody, and he's been on every radio show.
He's spoken at conferences all across the country.
Yeah.
In the United States.
I think he was at a recent MUFON one, the UFO research people.
We're talking to him today about
UFOs, secret bases. I want to tap him for a bit of information on the Mothman, because I'm quite keen on it. He's got a big whole host of subjects that he talks about.
Yeah, so we're only going to cover a tiny few of them because we're hoping that he'll come back on and talk to us again at some future date.
I'm
so.
hoping that the connection's going to hold up today, because I know that there's a storm raging in Dallas today.
Oh boy.
Yeah. We'll see how we
Fingers
fare.
crossed.
Shall we bring him on?
Let's talk to him.
You know what's coming first?
Ad.
You can help support Alternative Future Radio by purchasing their Android application. With this application, you can download all the latest shows. And you can go back into time and download archived shows. The application is just $1.99, and PayPal will bill you in your usual currency. If you don't use dollars, find out more at alternativefutureradio.com.
Okay, so hopefully we should now be joined on the phone from Dallas, Texas by Nick Redfern. How are you doing there, Nick?
I'm doing good, guys. How's it going?
Brilliant, brilliant. I was in Dallas once. Did I mention that?
Yep.
Nick,
No.
are you?
I want to be here today. It's like nearly 100 degrees.
Oh, really?
I turned up there in August. It was 100 or 110, and it was 100% humidity. Hottest place I've ever been.
Are you very far from the famous grassy knoll there, Nick, where you live in Dallas?
No, not really. About 30 minutes, something like that.
I imagine I went to one of the leafy suburbs in Dallas. Was it Greendale or Greenvale or somewhere like that? I think that's what it was called. It was quite a nice little place.
Greenville?
Greenville, maybe,
Greenville?
yeah. It was nice. I was on Commercial Street on the Pegasus Hotel. I stayed there for a little while.
Okay.
Just up the road from the grassy knoll.
Oh, well, did you figure out anything?
Not far away at all.
Well, it looks like it's all been re-landscaped.
Probably places change.
Yeah.
Places change.
The school book depository is still there, and there's a little burning flame and things.
Yeah.
Never mind JFK. That's another story
That's
for another day. The story for today, however, is UFOs, cover-ups associated with UFOs, general UFO stuff.
We're with Nick Redfern, as he's just informed us, the author of 22 books.
22 books. If you'd done 22 of anything, generally you'd be seen to have had a problem. That's, I mean...
OCD much?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Are you actually okay, Nick? You know, you can stop, can't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, no, it's not like an obsession. It's you know, I mean, joking aside, for me, it's like it's an interest, but I don't get, sort of obsessed with it. I have a normal life away from the subject as well.
But you've written on many different subjects.
Yeah, that is true. Mm-hmm. Give us a few of your different subjects, Nick, because I know we're talking about UFOs today, but you've covered a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, mainly I sort of focus on two areas, one being UFOs and the other being cryptozoology, which is the search for unknown animals like Bigfoot and the Chupacabra and the Loch Ness Monster. And so I tend to focus on different aspects of those subjects. So with UFOs, I've written on Area-51, Men in Black, crashed UFO stories, alien contact. And with cryptozoology, I've written books on Bigfoot, on lake monsters, werewolves, you name it. So I kind of sort of mix it up a little bit and just sort of, just write about the things that interest me, and hopefully, they'll interest other people as well. So.
They do.
There was one title I noticed there. I hope I've got it right. Celebrity Secrets. Was that you, Nick?
Yeah, that one's a bit different because that one's nothing to do with sort of paranormal stuff. That was a study of government files on famous people in Hollywood. It was a study of how the FBI secretly watched people like Marilyn Monroe and Frank Sinatra.
John Lennon.
And,
I was thinking this must have been
Lennon,
the 50s.
All those sorts of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of 50s, pretty much through the 70s when it was really at its height. And it was everything from, sort of mafia links and, stuff like this, and links with the Kennedys. And, so it was like a historical study of, why and how government agencies watch famous people. So.
Wow.
I might touch on that later on.
Oh, maybe.
Okay, Mark, I'll hand it over to you, because I know you're keen.
You mentioned something there at the very on your little list of topics, Area 51, which is, oddly enough, we did an interview recently with Andrew Johnson. He was talking about 9/11, but he mentioned SAIC, and my ears pricked up because I worked in a company and I was sat next to a group of SAIC people, and I know they'd got links with Area 51. They do all sorts of interesting research. Area 51 is something that, it's about as mysterious as it is big. What are your thoughts on that? Start on the basics. What do you think is actually going on in Area 51?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, Area 51 is sort of an interesting place. A lot of people think it's in the middle of nowhere. It's actually only less than 90 miles from downtown Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. So it's actually, not as some people think, hundreds of miles into the desert. You could actually be from downtown Las Vegas. You put your foot down, you can be there in just over an hour. Yeah. The problem is that when you get within sort of 10, 15 miles of the base, you can be turned round. There are signs warning you that you're approaching prohibited land. There are ground sensors. So in other words, even though it's not a long way away from civilization, you literally cannot get within like 10 miles of the base. Yeah. And the fact that it's surrounded by large mountains as well, it's sort of like a very strategic place. Now, of course, what we know for sure about Area 51 is that it's where a lot of the early sort of prototype and radical aircraft the U.S. military were test flown from, things like the U-2, a lot of the early stealth technology.
Blackbirds and such like.
Test flown from Area 51. Yeah. Now, of course, the bigger question is, what else is going on there? And, of course, you have a lot of these stories about crashed UFOs being held there and researched and alien bodies. And, I've done a lot of research into Area 51 and spoke to a lot of people who've said, that outright said that, they've seen crashed UFOs or read files on, alien autopsies at Area 51. And the people come across as genuine and, they can back up their credentials as to who. In that sense, that's what sort of fascinates me, because I think the challenge is when we're looking into all these issues is to try and find out, where the treasure, so to speak, is hidden. Yeah. And Area 51 would be the ideal place, because it's so strategically fortified and guarded, and in terms of people not being able to get there, it would be the ideal place. So, I think in that sense, the stories make sense. But the problem is, how do we prove what's going on there?
Yeah.
When it's so well guarded, when no files have ever surfaced, photographs, etc., that we can conclusively say this or that. That's where the problem is. It doesn't mean there's nothing to it. It's like the challenge is to take things to the next step and be able to prove it. And I think that's where the UFO subject has kind of hit a stumbling block or a brick wall. We've got the testimony about what could be going on at Area 51, but how do we prove it? That's the big challenge, I think.
Have you visited Area 51, no doubt, Nick, yourself?
Well, the edges, maybe.
Yeah, the edges.
I've got about as close as you can legally get, which, and in saying that, I mean,